Today's episode is talking all about coaching and what it can do for you as a client, and what made me sign up for coaching, what sparked my interest in becoming a coach. So listen to today's episode, and if you've got any thoughts, please do share them with me and let me know what you think. Hello, you're listening to the Courageous Goals podcast. This podcast is for high achieving, courageous women who want growth and the know-how to scale their business online. Running a business is a journey and a process. The more we learn in action, the more we succeed. If you're a woman in business, this is the podcast for you. Be in the 5% of businesses that make it. Let's get bold and create the life we desire. I'm bringing my passion to you through advice, coaching, inspiration, and support to help you create and design the life and business you want to live. I am a Dubsado expert, CPD certified in social media platforms, and a lover of admin systems and processes. I am an accredited ICF coach, specialising in trauma and narcissism. My own coaching journey has supported my growth immensely, and I want to share those highlights with you to inspire and give you courage. Let's get intentional with our goals and make them happen. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Courageous Goals podcast. So I sound a little bit hyper today, I think. You might agree, but I'm talking about a topic that I absolutely love and comes easily for me. And I wanted to record this episode to give a bit of clarification because I seem to get asked this question quite a lot, which seems to be quite common in this space. What can coaching do for me as a client? So when people come to me, they're just like, I'm so interested in coaching. It sounds amazing, but what is it? What's entailed? What's required from me as a client, and what's required from you as a coach? And all these questions kind of come up. So I thought it would be a really good idea to talk about coaching and kind of what the journey entails for you, so that you know if you sign up to a coach roughly what you would be doing. And so I'd like to start from where I kind of started with coaching to kind of give you like the journey, I guess. So before 2021, I had never experienced coaching. I'd heard of it in lots of different forms, in lots of different ways. There are coaches for everything, you know, like football coaches, sports coaches, social media coaches, coaches for everything. And so I'd heard of coaches in lots of different areas, but I'd just never entertained it. I'd never experienced it. It just wasn't on my radar. However, I had followed quite a few different coaches for a while, so I guess I was intrigued. I just never really explored it. So I ended up signing up with my very first coach in 2021 because I was intrigued and I had done a little bit of my own research to find out what it is that you could gain from working with a coach. And when I signed up for my first coaching program, it was with a wonderful lady called Hilary, and she is an amazing coach, truly amazing. And I believe she also studied with Optimus Coach Academy. And that's how I ended up signing up with Optimus Coach Academy, because they came highly recommended. And I'm sure Hilary won't mind me saying she had done her due diligence, definitely. She was one of those people who really researches things and makes sure she's signing up to the right thing. And so I explored coaching a little bit with Hilary. And then I did my own research and whatever on different coaching companies, and Optimus Coach Academy seemed to kind of tick nearly every box. And then I signed up for a discovery call with Ruth, the owner of Optimus Coach Academy. And then, as always, I'm one of those people who kind of lurk, listen, think about things, kind of really wait until nearly the last minute to sign up. So I was one of those last minute sign-ups. But I'm so glad that I did sign up to coaching with Optimus Coach Academy to become a coach. But initially, before that, I signed up with coaching with Hilary. And so I did my program with her. I can't remember how many sessions we did. It might have been about 6. But it was a magical process. There wasn't anything specific that I wanted to work on with the actual program. So as each session came along, we kind of unfolded things each session, and I worked on those things that were coming up for me at the time. And that really supported me, because I was feeling a little bit stuck in my business. I was a bit overworked, and I really wanted to sign up, or I was signing up to Optimus Coach Academy. And so I was a little bit, where was I? I was kind of like on a self-development journey, and I have been actually for a few years, which I've said before in other episodes. Like, you might have seen, if you follow me or you've connected with me, you've seen that I've been on this journey for a while. And so I guess Hilary supported me in that way, because I'm still, even now, I'm still finding out about myself. And I feel like this sort of journey is always a continual journey. It's not something you go on for a little while, right, that's it, that's me, and then you kind of carry on with life. It's a continual journey. And so I signed up with these sessions with Hilary. They were amazing. I then signed up with Optimus Coach Academy, and I went on this long educational journey with them, which was amazing. And when I was coming to the end of my diploma with Optimus Coach Academy, I then signed up for trauma coaching, because of the journey that I had taken, what I had found out about myself, having coaching sessions with my peer coaches, because that was part of the program with the diploma. I then figured that trauma coaching and becoming a narcissistic abuse specialist was really my thing. It was my area in where I wanted to dive deeper and find out more about how I can support others in the same way. And so I signed up with Caroline Strawson at the end of April, and I am now and still on that journey with Caroline Strawson to becoming a trauma-informed coach and a narcissistic abuse specialist, as well as I've actually just done a brain spotting weekend. So now I'm a brain spotting therapist also, which is CPD accredited. So it's all very me. It's not something I ever thought I would do. I never thought I would be in this situation a few years ago. But the journey that I've taken, it's been absolutely wonderful. And so I guess now that I've explained a little bit about my journey and how I got to here, it'd be a really good time to tell you what is involved if you sign up to a coaching program. And that looks different for everybody. And even different for coaches, because we all run our coaching businesses in different ways. With some coaches, you can sign up to a short program, or you might just sign up to an intensive session. You could have maybe a 90-minute or a 2-hour intensive session with a coach. You could sign up to a short program. You could sign up to a year's program. There's all sorts of different ways to work with coaches. And usually you sign up to a coach because you would like to work on something specific. However, some people sign up to coaching, as did I, because I was curious about coaching. I hadn't experienced coaching before. And at the same time, I guess I was a little bit stuck, overworked, and I wanted to know where I was kind of heading. And the clarity that it gives you is unbelievable because of the things that you work on and explore that open up throughout a session and throughout the program. So what I found, I'm one of those really awkward clients where I tend to say I don't know quite a lot when people ask me questions, because it takes a lot for my brain to really get to the deep answers. You know, I could answer those questions easily, but I'm one of those people where I tend to say, you know, someone says to me, how are you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you? So really, in a coaching session, if someone asks me that question, how are you really? That question always really hits me, because usually I've got something else to say, and it could be whatever it is that's coming up for me that day or at that time. You know, if there's something I'm working on, I will then open up about whatever it is I need to work on. But if it's in passing conversation, I don't open up. It takes a lot for me to open up. And a lot of coaches have actually said that to me, where they're working with me and they feel that it takes a lot for me to open up. And then when we come to a next session, they've got to do all that work again to really get me to open up, because I close off quite easily. And if you are working with the right coach, they are really able to do that with you. You know, they get to know you, they get to know what works to open you up to be able to work deeper. So you can bring anything you want to a coaching session, to a coaching program. You know, you might find that you're launching a product. If you're a woman in business and you're launching a product or a service, say in 3 months' time, you could work in a coaching program for 3 months and work on that specific topic. Because when you're launching something, you could be overwhelmed with all of the work that's required for launching, and your brain obviously could either be stuck or working at 1,000,000 miles an hour, whatever it is. But you need to take baby steps to get you to the ultimate goal. And so you can work on those little things as you go throughout your sessions. And it's just having someone there to talk with, to bounce those ideas off, to explore things further that you may not have considered. And, you know, the way the coaches work is that we ask very open questions and explore deeper with you, because there are always things that you wouldn't necessarily think to ask yourself. Or if you spoke to, I don't know, a family member or a friend or something like that, they wouldn't know necessarily how to ask you a specific question to get you to really think and work deeper. It's very different for everybody. So some people like to work on a specific thing in a program, and some people just know that they need coaching regularly so that they can explore. So I'm one of those people where I actually have 2 coaches at the moment. So I work with one on something specific. So we are working on my business at the moment, and each session is about getting to me to that ultimate goal. And with my other coach, we work on a very open and free sort of basis, where I bring something to each session that I need to talk about there and then. And both work really well for me, depending, you know, which one it is I'm working on at the time. But both types of coaching work really well. And so I guess now would be a good time to kind of give you an example of a coaching session. So say your coaching session is at 10 o'clock today, and you start your session. You know, have a quick check-in with your coach, with your client. You say, hi, how are you? That sort of thing. And then the coach usually says something like, what would you like to explore in our session today? And that could be a session that's quite open-ended, like I was saying with the 2 different types of coaching that I work with my coaches with. this could be a very free and open session. So what would you like to work on today? Because there's nothing specific you're working on in your program. Or it could be if you're working on a specific program and you've already had a couple of sessions with your coach, and now it's the third session, and she might say, right, so far we have worked on this, we have worked on this, and now we are in our third session into getting to your goal in the program. So what would be the next step for you to work on in your session today? And so the part where the coach plays, it's about exploring and going deeper with you, but you are always leading your session. These sessions are completely for you as the client. So this is about not feeling stuck. This is about exploring where you're at now, what you need to get you to where you want to be. What do you need at the end of that session? Do you need clarity? Do you need accountability? Do you need just support and someone to bounce those ideas off? If you need advice or mentoring or something like that, some coaches do offer that if they've got experience. So, you can say to them, look, I know this is coaching. However, if you do have a little bit of advice or you've experienced something, I would really value your input. There's little bits like that where you can really work together on something. And not only explore with coaching sessions, but explore with actual advice and experience. So the session is always about you as the client and what you need right now. And for a lot of people, it's usually about clarity and the longer term goal. So coaching is about the present, it's about the future and what you want to achieve. It's not therapy at all in any way. It's not counselling. It's not, it's nothing like that. It's always about the now and future focus. And where trauma comes in, as I thought I'd mention this a little bit because I'm training to be trauma informed. Where that comes in is because I've got experience in trauma, I am always doing my own healing, and with what I've learnt and continue to learn, it's about recognizing where there is trauma and how you can support that person in that way to not push them too much. Because with coaching, you might get asked a specific question, and although the coach intends it very well and they're doing it to support you, guide you with their explorative questions, it's very important to recognize where there might be something that has triggered you, and how to deal with that appropriately. It's not always a case of, right, I've asked this question, she's got upset, but I don't know why. Shall I re-ask that question? And it's a definite no. Or usually it's a no. But you explore with the client what's going on with them right now. And that's where trauma really helps, because we've learned lots of different tools and skills and ways to really help where trauma has suddenly become present in a coaching session, and it's something that person really needs to work on. It's still forward thinking because you're allowing them to have those feelings, to recognize those feelings and be okay with those feelings, because ultimately they don't want to stay stuck in their trauma. They would love to move forward. And that's the idea of coaching. It's not counselling and therapy keeping you stuck in the past. It's about moving forward and still supporting that person to get to where they need to be. So you can still explore the past in a trauma coaching way because you're working on something to achieve a future goal. So there's really so much that coaching can do for you if you're working with the right person. And I guess I realised I went off a little bit on a tangent just then, just talking about trauma coaching slightly. But you can probably see that that's where my passion lies. Coaching is an amazing tool. It can do so much for you. It really can. But trauma coaching, you can do so much more. You know, it's one of those things where a lot of people have trauma in their lives, but they tend to not work on it. Maybe because it's painful, or because they're in, the public eye. As a business owner, you're taught to be yourself and put yourself out there. But sometimes it's really hard because something is holding you back. And usually it's something to do with what you think of yourself or what's come up for you in the past. And, you just can't move forward. So trauma coaching, it's amazing. It's really hard to explain it without going into too much detail. So I'm trying to think now of how to explain it a little bit further without going into detail, which is really hard for me. But yes, there's just so much you can do with coaching, and I hope this episode has given you a little insight to what coaching can do for you as a person, whether that's in your life or in your business or whatever it is. It's so invaluable, especially when you're working with the right coach for you. There are business coaches, there are life coaches, transformational coaches, trauma coaches, somatic coaches. There's a coach for so many different areas. You've just got to find the right one for you in where you are right now. So I know as a person, I would never ever be without a coach now. And I just know the value it brings me and how much I look forward to my sessions of my own. And I would encourage anyone just to trial a session. If you're interested, actually, I don't normally do this. If you're interested, I'm happy to talk about coaching with you and see what it can do for you as a client. Even if, you're not sure you want a full program or anything like that, but you're intrigued by it. Maybe you're thinking of a specific area in your life where you're a little bit stuck. You might be thinking now, oh, actually, maybe I need to work on this, or actually, I'd like some clarity on this because I know X, Y, and Z, but what's the ultimate goal? There could be lots of different areas that you're thinking a coach could help you. So if that is the case, do feel free to contact me and we can explore it together. I offer a free 30-minute clarity call. So if you'd like to explore a little bit, then please do contact me and we can see where that can go. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. And it's given you a little bit of clarity as to what coaching can do for you as a client. See where it can actually take you when you've got the support that you need. Thank you so much for listening to the Courageous Goals podcast. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode and taken something of value for you. If you'd love more advice, coaching, inspiration and support, head on over to join many other courageous women in business in our free community group over on Facebook. We'd love to welcome you. You can also find free useful resources over on the website at leannebrown.com/resources. Right, that's all for this week. I look forward to sharing another episode with you next week.